Day 3. 2 questions left. We're gonna finish these, and then we're gonna do some book sorting. Done. We Have Always Been Here made me cry like a lot while I was reading it. It's a good book. Let's go make some rice. Yeah, that sounds good. Hello. I just got up from a nap, so I may look a little red in the face. We finished that first assignment, so I'm feeling pretty good. Now we've just got the vocab words, and then we're down for 110 until next week. So that's good. I don't think I'm gonna eat dinner yet, just because I'm not super hungry. What I might do, though, is do some book sorting, because, give me a second. Dad got these big Tupperwares from Home Depot, so let's do some book sorting. I'm using this little guy to keep my phone stuck to my sheet music stand because he's squishy and he sticks to stuff. I might turn off that light. So this is my bookshelf. Maybe let's start with that and then work that way. Yeah. So a couple of these books I actually most of these books I get on sale from the university bookstore. So like this one and like maybe 20 other ones I'll pick up for like $2, you know, that are in this pile here. I'll pick them up for like $2 each. $2, $3 each. Like it's like I can't resist a title like this. This is so cringe. No, I'm joking. Cringe is dead and I killed it. There are a couple in this pile that I haven't read. I do tend to hoard books and then be like, you can't buy any more books until you finish reading the ones you have at home, and then I end up buying more books. If you haven't read The Handmaid's Tale, get on it right now. I'm not joking. This was one of the best books that I read in 2019. I loved reading it. I loved writing an essay about it for a class. I did have to read it for class, but I really do appreciate the opportunity that class gave me to read this book. It's so good. I cried a lot while reading it because it terrified me, and I was the only person in my class who read the epilogue, so I was the only one who knew what I was talking about during that tutorial, and it made me very happy. The content of Handmaid's Tale will freak you out if you live in the States or in Canada and like grew up in Christianity. It'll mess you up. I read this one over the summer last year, and I really enjoyed it. It's a bit of a YA novel. It's about this girl who has like really intense paranoia, and her whole family like struggles with paranoia problems. And it's called A Semi-Definitive List of Worst Nightmares because it's all about how she has like a list of things that she could like potentially die from. And so this boy finds her list and starts making her like do the things on the list to help her get over her fears, and it's really cute. I really enjoy reading it, and I got it for $2. It was a hardback and I got it for $2. These ones, the Matte Fraction Hawkeyes, oh my god. Okay, I was in maybe 10th grade, like I was 15 or I was 16. I was 16 when I read these originally, so it's been 6 years, but this is the Hawkeye that should have been in the movies. I'm still angry. Like my teenager self is boiling up from within me because of how mad I am that the depiction of Hawkeye in these comics is not the depiction that went into those movies. Hawkeye wears hearing aids in the Matte Fraction comics, and I feel like that would have been such a cool dynamic. And his little dog, oh my god. And Kate, like, why on earth would you take away the fact that Clint Barton had 3 divorces and there's this random kid running around trying to steal his identity? Matte Fraction Hawkeye just gives me life. Everybody, look, okay. I picked these up in the Christmas bargain bin in like January, and they were both like $1. So everybody needs Barbie movies in their house, okay? Like it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. The Damned by Andrew Piper. I actually really enjoyed it. It's okay, so it's sort of about like a middle-aged dude being saved by his relationship to a woman, but it was also like a really beautiful story about merging households, and like the main character in the book like adopts his girlfriend's son, and it's really beautiful. And also there's like this interesting supernatural horror element because the guy's twin sister died when they were teenagers, and it's like it's kind of a question of like, was she a demon? Because she and he both had like a near-death experience when they were like neonatal, and she like saved him from the brink, but she like lost her humanity in doing so, and so she's trying to bring him over to hell or something. I read this last year. I can't remember a lot about it, but I really enjoyed reading it. And if you have a chance, I would pick it up for $2. House of Night. I'm really sad that I don't have my House of Night collection from when I was a teenager, but I had like all of them. I literally had marked, chosen all of them. Like, it was crazy. My bookshelf was so heavy at my house when I was a teenager because it was just full of like 14 House of Night novels. And I'm so happy that they kept the series going, and it's like portal fiction now. Like, it's, if you're really into YA vampire novels in the same way that I am, House of Night, the new ones, are where it's at. Oh my god, I love them so much. The Upside of Unrequited, I really enjoyed it. It's by the same lady who wrote the Love, Simon book. Simon versus the Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. My Aunt Sam gave it to me, and it's really good. I really enjoyed it. It's about this young lady named Molly, and she identifies as asexual. And it's a book about her, like, you know, finding her first boyfriend, and she has, like, you know, struggles. Again, political climates. This is another one that's like a really good read post-Trump, but it's YA. That one isn't The Handmaid's Tale. That's a YA novel. So if you're not into YA, don't take my word for it. Point, as you can see, I didn't get it for $6. I got it for $3. It was on the 3 for $3 shelf at the Chapters. Yeah. I was trying to remember if it was at Chapters or at Kohl's. This is a really good YA novel. It's about a young girl who does ballet, if you couldn't tell from the cover. But she also struggles with like an eating disorder, and so it's about her, you know, kind of, it's a year in her life, and it's her trying to, you know, overcome substance abuse problems and eating disorder problems so that she can, you know, she can succeed in her art. And it's beautiful. It's like, it's a really wonderful, it's a wonderful story, and I think it's a really powerful story for young girls to be reading. So, you know, I really enjoyed reading it. I also really enjoyed getting it for $3. The Nowhere Girls. This is another one from that same pile as Point. It's another YA one that I picked up at Chapters. It's about this group of young ladies who are trying to bring awareness to sexual assault problems at their high school. And it's really cool. It follows 3 girls. One of them is autistic. One of them is Latina. And the other one, it's in the front flap. Oh, she's new in town. So she's from like a Southern Baptist church, and she's just moving to a new town, and her mother's the pastor. I think it's really interesting because it shows a really wonderfully diverse cast of young ladies who you don't obviously normally see. And when I was younger, you didn't see, you know, girls with shaved heads and autism as, you know, perspective characters in young adult fiction. So I was like, oh, cool. And it's cool. book. Red Rising is my friend Heather's like favorite book. I haven't had the chance to pick up the sequels, but I really loved this book. Oh my gosh. It's about this young man named Darrow. And Red Rising takes place in a future fictive society where we colonize Mars. Where like Earth humans have colonized Mars. And Darrow is a miner under the surface of Mars. And the idea with the society that lives under the surface of Mars is that they are terraforming it for the future inhabitation on the surface. But the truth is that the surface of Mars is inhabited and they've been acting as like a slave class, like living in the dirt on Mars for like decades. It's insane. But Darrow finds out about this, and so he becomes physically, like, he gets like a bunch of crazy radical surgeries on his body to make him one of the like elite. They're called Golden. And so he becomes like this like debutante lord. Like he steals this guy's identity and is now acting as like a like spy for the resistance. And it's such an interesting book. If you're interested in sci-fi and you're interested in just absolute chaos, it's such a good book. Toronto Comics, Oz Good as Gold. It's really cute. It's a little comic collection I picked up at Fan Expo 2017, I think it was 2017. What year is it? I can just look up when it was published in the book. 2018. Okay, so it was Fan Expo 2018 that I picked this. It's a comic collection from Toronto artists. So I think my favorite one is the one about the raccoon. Oh, right. I bought it for one of the artists and they signed it. Okay, I found it. Bandit Bargain Basement Bonanza. It's about like this flea market that's run by a raccoon, and it's really cute because like he has the Honest Ed sign in the flea market basement, and it's like didn't you read the sign? And my favorite line it's like look what you did, and they're on Block TO, and it's just really cute. I thought it was a really wonderful little collection, and I'm glad that I picked it up. Hot Pterodactyl Boyfriend. So this novel is gangbusters. It's hilarious. So it's about this young lady named Shields, and she's like the student body president, and she's like the most popular girl in, you know what I mean? She's like on the top of her high school food chain. And so let me read the flap. When Pike, the first interspecies transfer student, quite literally lands at Vista View High, the entire school freaks out. Even Shields, who is always the most prepared. She's student body chair. She has to know everything. Like, oh, by the way, a teenage pterodactyl is starting school with you. What? You see, Shields is what you would lovingly call a control freak. Focused, prepared, always one step ahead, even when it comes to her boyfriend Sheldon. The universe is unfolding as planned until Pike shows up. He's mysterious, primal, he's popular, already dating the school's track star, but there's something about him. Shields can't stay away, even if Sheldon gets lost in the shadows, even if it means risking everything she's worked for. Who are you anyway when your world cracks without warning? To find her true self, first Shields must lose everything. Like, how dramatic of a flap is that for a book about a literal pterodactyl? It's hilarious. I loved reading every moment of it. Also, I think the book itself is really fun. I wish more books would do this with like the hardbacks being fun colors. Because I love the design on the shield, like I love the design on the dust flap, and I love the way that it looks like on the inside as well. and like, oh my gosh, like it takes itself very seriously, which is really fun when you're halfway through it and Shield starts like training to be a track star, and she's like Rocky Balboa, like running all over the place, and she like finds a running trainer and she starts wearing these like really thin soled like yellow shoes that are just like the track stars shoes, and like I love how seriously a highly comedic book takes itself. And oh man, I just had I had a field day reading this. It was so fun. Star Wars Ahsoka. Now, this might be a bit of a controversial opinion. I think that E.K. Johnson's fiction work that's like not associated with Star Wars is what I prefer over her Star Wars fiction. I know that she's been writing a lot of stuff for Star Wars recently, and I really appreciate that she's making that sweet Disney cheddar. Oh my goodness. Like, I'm so happy for her for making money as an author and being so amazing. But like, my first work of hers was Exit Pursued by Bear, and that was such a powerful work. And sure, like the Star Wars ones they have powerful moments, but to me, I do sort of resent that like right now Star Wars is like giving a lot of money to people who want to write fan fiction for them. It's like I'm a little jealous. Like, I wish I could make some of that sweet Star Wars fan fiction money. But yeah, it's a good book. You know, if you want to pick it up, pick it up. I personally really like the design they went for the cover. I'm not super into her Star Wars Rebels design. I thought it was a little softer in the face than her Star Wars The Clone Wars design. I haven't seen the new season of Star Wars The Clone Wars. I'm very excited to watch it though. This is just more House of Night. I'm a sucker. I'm such a sucker for House of Night. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there was a little break there. I just had a very nice call with my friend, Cal Tate, who called me this evening. So that was nice. Let's get back to sorting these books. That's where my copy of The Great Gatsby was. Oh, absolutely gorgeous edition of The Hobbit that my grandmother got for me. It's got these lovely little illustrations by J.R.R. Tolkien that are in it, and it has this beautiful book sleeve that it goes in, and oh my god, I love The Hobbit so much. Now, Lost Voices is one of many mermaid fiction novels that I have on this shelf. Give me a second. I might have a problem. Lost Voices, it's a YA fiction novel about a young lady who lives in Alaska, and her father is abusive, which is unfortunate, but one day her father attempts to kill her, it's a little graphic, but instead of dying, she becomes a mermaid. And so that's kind of the inciting incident there, is that young women who have been abused become mermaids. And so there's like this community of like young women who have survived abuse who are now like extremely powerful, like nigh immortal. They're not immortal, but it's a really interesting trilogy of novels. As you can see, I got into it after reading the first one. But yeah, the final novel of the three of them, oh man, I freaked out when I read it. It was so good. I really love these novels. The next trilogy, these aren't in order of purchase or anything, but the next trilogy is what are these called? I think these are called a trilogy of something, right? The Cyrena Legacy is what these are called. To be honest with you, I feel like that's kind of a weird title for them, but whatever. Of Poseidon, of Triton, and of Neptune, and these are like YA romance novels about She's a young lady who is like half mermaid, I want to say. Yeah, I think she's half mermaid. Turns out that she's like the heiress of one of the mermaid royal families, and her mother is like one of the long lost princesses. And I really liked reading them when I was a teenager. I haven't gone back to reread these ones, so yeah, they might be a little whack. I don't know. Only Windsnap is children's fiction, but holy smokes, I adored these books when I was a kid. I was obsessed with the Emily Windsnap novels. I've read the first 3 of them. I know there are more, so I think maybe in May I might do something with all that. The final novel in my mermaid novels collection is Mermaids in Paradise. It's mermaids are kind of incidental to the plot. It's from the perspective of a human who is on like a scuba diving team on like vacation. The book never has mermaids as like the point of view characters, but I mean it was a fun little book. I enjoyed reading it. So also my little cabbage boy, my widow boy is on top of my bookcase. Pantomime by Laura Lamb. Oh my gosh, these books are so good. I know that there is a sequel to this that came out. I haven't had a chance to pick it up. It's been a few years. This book will blow your mind. Oh my goodness. So good. And then I've got a bunch of different editions, but it's a full set of the Chronicles of Narnia. My favorite editions of it are the full color collector's edition. I got these ones when I was pretty young. These are my favorite editions of the Chronicles of Narnia, so I'm hoping at some point I can get a full 7 of these ones. But these 2 are of the same edition because I stole this one from my middle school because the teacher was not nice. And then I bought the silver chair to match the 7th one, forgetting that the 7th one is not the right edition and it's not the one that I prefer. And then the Chronicles of Narnia, this one was the first one I ever got. So yeah. It's a cute little guy edition of the Chronicles of Narnia. But this was the first Chronicles of Narnia book I ever got. Hatching Magic is another one that I stole from my middle school. I love this book so much. I have never touched the sequel, but this is a very well-loved copy of Hatching Magic. Anne Downer, I love everything about you. This book changed my life when I was a kid. And oh my gosh. Hatching Magic was definitely one of my favorite books to read as a kid. I would just, if I was having a bad day, I would take like 2 hours and I would sit down and I would just crunch through the whole thing. Holy smackaroonies, that book was a game changer. Holy moly. Speak, this is a special edition that I bought at some point. I forget when it was. But this one and Stargirl, I want to say when I was in 6th grade, I just went nuts for books like this about like girls who were in middle school and were struggling because, I wonder why. Speak, also a game changer in a very different way than Hatching Magic was. Hatching Magic is definitely a middle reader's book, whereas Speak is, I want to say it's got adult content in it, but it's written from the perspective of a middle schooler, and I feel like those are very different things. And I feel like sometimes Speak is read by children, and it definitely should be, but I feel like sometimes it's treated like it's too young for adult readers, and that's definitely not the truth. I'll read the back. I am an outcast. The kids behind me laugh so loud I know they're laughing about me. I can't help myself. I turn around. It's Rachel, surrounded by a bunch of kids wearing clothes that most definitely did not come from the East Side Mall. Rachel Bruin, my ex-best friend. She stares at something above my left ear. Words climb up my throat. This was the girl who suffered through brownies with me, who taught me how to swim, who understood about my parents, who didn't make fun of my bedroom. If there is anyone in the entire galaxy I am dying to tell what really happened, it's Rachel. My throat burns. Her eyes meet mine for a second. I hate you, she mouths silently. Melinda Sordino's freshman year is off to a horrible start. She busted an end-of-summer party by calling the cops, and now her friends, and even strangers, all hate her. Months pass, and things aren't getting better. She's a pariah, the lowest of the low, avoided by everyone. But eventually she'll reveal what happened at the party, and when she finally speaks the truth, everything will change. I bought this copy of the book when I lived in Ottawa, so that was 2016.